I have Eric Barger in studio with me, and online from Washington is Bill Koenig, White House correspondent now for about 15, 16 years. We're carrying his newest book, Revealed, Obama's Legacy. Well, the legacy is pretty bleak. That doesn't mean that we have to approach this in a terribly dark situation and mindset. And Bill Koenig and Eric, I played a soundbite in that last segment. It happened to be Amir Sarfati, and he was talking about how the stage is being set for Ezekiel 38 and 39. Well, in fact, our foreign policy had something to do with that, and that leads me to setting sort of a comment here and a question to you, Bill Koenig, and Eric, you too. Are we not seeing prophecy being fulfilled at a rapid pace, more rapidly than ever before in history? And Barack Obama has contributed to that. Am I right?
Absolutely. And I think that's important for your listeners, is the fact that all our presidents have had a significant biblical prophetic role. When you look at FDR telling the king of Saudi Arabia that if Israel ever wanted to become a state, that he would notify him. A week later he dies. Harry Truman replaces him. Look at the role that Ronald Reagan did, having the Iron Curtain come down, and the Jews doing Aliyah to Israel. George W. Bush's father starting the current Land for Peace process is going to lead to that final Daniel 9:27 covenant. Then, Bill Clinton's role in the peace process, and then George W. Bush is the one that birthed two states living side by side in peace and security. And then Obama with his Muslim background and the things that he's done in Israel and around Israel and the Middle East, how that is accelerating things prophetically, moving out of Iraq too fast, cutting a deal with Iran, which his lack of activity has pushed Russia into a position of influence, him backing the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, and then that government collapses, and then him being angry at that, and then Putin and Russia moving into a position of influence, and what Russia's doing in Syria. This is incredible, Jan. So from our perspective as people that understand how Bible prophecy is playing out, and as you mentioned, Ezekiel 38 and 39, the Gog-Magog war, all the final day players in Israel and the Middle East are taking their positions and have done so during the last 8 or 10 of our presidential terms to bring things to completion.
I'm just overwhelmed on a daily basis, and I know you are too, Bill, because you and I both watch headlines so carefully as I see the headlines all coming together, the convergence, so to speak. And folks, I've done a whole DVD on how U.S. presidents have related to Israel since Woodrow Wilson. You can find that in my store or call my office. It's U.S. Presidents in Israel, a blessing or a cursing. Have U.S. presidents been a blessing or a cursing to the nation of Israel? And it crosses party lines. Democrats have blessed, Republicans have blessed, and vice versa as well. Some other ways, Eric, that we can be kind of aggressive here. We've talked about Bill's book, Revealed, Obama's Legacy. It's a very, very dark legacy that he's leaving us. Some exhortation for our listeners from you.
Well, this is not a time for faint-heartedness. It's a time for us to stand up and realize what is happening and to point it out to those around us, to be vocal. Of course, it's a time to pray. That can never be stated enough, nor understated in any way or overstated in any way. We need to be people of prayer. But at the same token, it's not a time for the faint-hearted, and I think it's really a time for action. I know we're going to talk about the election next week, but that is something that every day I'm thinking about it. I'm watching what's happening inside the church. It's discouraging, but at the same token, I think it's prophetic. And, a while ago, and I want to add this while I just got a second here, that we were talking about So Help Me God with Obama. I think it would be good to point out to the listeners that there is one true God, but there are many false gods. And when Obama says God, which God is he talking about? And I think that couldn't be overstated either, especially with his Muslim upbringing and background and his affinity for Islam. He is a Muslim apologist. If he's talking about the God of Islam, he's not talking about the God of the Bible. We need to recognize that, and we need not to be deceived and fooled. This is not a time to allow deception to creep in.
Bill, I want to interject something here, please, and we're going to look a little more carefully at the election next weekend when we do part 2 of this. But as you have said to me privately, and I know you write about it and post articles all the time, Hillary Clinton election in November is basically going to continue the legacy of Barack Obama. Am I right?
Absolutely. Most of the major things that Obama's put in place, that he's implemented, Hillary Clinton's totally behind him, totally favors it, and he was even involved in some of those.
Yes.
Well, it has to do with Israel and the Middle East. You saw the effort that her husband put into that effort during his 2 terms. Her time as Secretary of State, which was very interesting. She put George Mitchell in responsible position as far as the negotiations. She saw how difficult it was. Second term, John Kerry's been the Secretary of State, and he's been the point man and made a lot of mistakes. And so the LGBT agenda, the judicial activist, moving civil rights to a position over religious rights, on and on and on, Jan. So just what many people are saying, it would be a 3rd term.
Conversely too, Bill, if she is not elected, it will be a monumental task to go about dismantling the destruction that's taken place and the executive orders and so on, all of this. Of course, the media will fight Trump or whoever else might be elected down the road. Any idea of dismantling these things or going against these ideas, the media has bought into it full bore and are helping to bring it to pass. But that doesn't give us a pass to stop praying and stop believing and trusting God. We're to contend right to the very end. And that's the way we got to think about these things, folks.
Absolutely.
Yep. And Bill, and I think your idea here with your book, Revealed Obama's Legacy, is that folks might even get their hands on half a dozen copies, correct? And then start handing them out. And that's almost a warning to people and even a warning to voters. Am I right?
Absolutely. That's the way the book has been used, Jan. Those people like yourself and Eric and others that have read the book, they start ordering multiple copies to give to their friends and others. That's been the beauty of this book, is it's for the purpose of revealing what has taken place the last 2 terms. And it's very factual. And the most important thing is using Obama's own words and actions. And we're all well enough informed and wise enough to see what has taken place. And a lot of people just haven't been informed, including members of my own family. They had no idea of a lot of what is in Revealed, and that's been the purpose and motive of writing this book, is to get the truth out the best we can.
Final thought here, Bill, then we're going to wrap things up. We're going to continue next weekend, folks. We're going to talk more specifically about Campaign 2016 next weekend. Bill was at the meeting in June with Donald Trump, and he's got some great insights into election 2016. After all, he's been in the White House press corps for 16 years practically. Any thoughts on Barack Obama heading to the United Nations to be Secretary General of the UN?
Well, a few months back, there was an article in the Jerusalem Post that said Benjamin Netanyahu had been in contact with some of the Middle Eastern leaders, and they were going to do what they could to stop that from happening in the event that Barack Obama wanted to become the Secretary General of the UN. Ban Ki-moon's term is up in December, and that was the only news organization that covered that story. But we're going to continue to watch that pretty closely, and that's a possible incentive that he might have, or a plan that he might have.
Well, that would have apocalyptic overtones, would it not?
Yeah, there's over 200 countries in the United Nations. A lot of things could happen in that particular role. He's still very popular throughout the world in a lot of different countries. So, yeah, it could conceptually have an apocalyptic influence in the times we're living in.
Well, it's the number one organization to hammer Israel, and I think he would love to be in charge of that globally. And so that's why I've been watching this, and I saw the same news items you did. This was maybe 3-4 months ago. And Jerusalem Post covered it, that the possibility was strong that he would take that position. Obviously, nothing's been announced, and I believe the position comes due January 2017, so we'll continue to watch